Hey, what's up everyone? Johnny the Geek here. Welcome to the build video of my own personal rig. And so ever since I got rid of the X99 platforms, there's nothing wrong with X99. I decided to jump over to the AMD platform just to see what it's like. I got to play both sides and I want to see what AMD's has to offer. And so not much has changed in terms of the parts. It's really just the motherboard and the CPU. That's pretty much it, actually. Everything else has kind of stayed the same from the previous, my previous personal rig. And so I'm just going to go over the parts list before we do the time-lapse build. Starting with the motherboard here, which is the Gigabyte AX370 gaming motherboard. And so this is the AM4 motherboard. It's not by no means a high performance enthusiast grade motherboard. This is actually one of the more budget friendly motherboards here. I want to say it's around $100 to $150 ish, around there. I got it as a combo deal with something else, so I can't really tell you how much it is, but you could look it up, and it is fairly cheap relative to all the other X370 motherboards out there. All right, and so going into that is the AMD Ryzen 7 1700 CPU, and so this has a base clock of 3 gigahertz and a boost clock of 3.7 gigahertz. It is the lower end of the 8-core CPUs from AMD Ryzen series, and the one I was going to use in this system was a 1600, which is a 6-core, but in lieu of the Black Friday deals, I got this for $230, so it was a great deal. Decided to pull the trigger on it for 8 cores and overclocking. This motherboard probably can't overclock too hard. I'm not sure what the performance is on this, but hopefully I'll be able to get some good overclocking out of that, especially because I have the CPU cooler here, which is the Corsair H110i GT 280 millimeter rad CPU cooler here, and I believe this one was $90. You can find that on sale usually quite often for 90 bucks, 90 to 125, somewhere around there, right? And then the storage, we got kind of a lot going on here in terms of storage. There's two 4 terabyte hard drives here from Western Digital. These are Reds, and these were deals that I got for like 100 bucks somewhere for 2 of them, for each one, right? And they're mainly going to be used for archival purposes, to store and dump raw video footage on here. They're going to be configured into like a sort of a JBOD in Windows. They have their own storage management type of thing here, where one drive fills up and then the next drive fills up, but the computer sees it as 8 terabytes instead of 2 separate ones. And for the scratch disk, though, because this is mainly a video editing rig, the scratch disk is going to be 2 1 terabyte SSDs. You can't really find these particular models anymore, but these were, I paid around $180 for each one. Most 1 terabyte hard drives are going to be over $200, right? So that's a scratch disk. And then there's the Samsung 950 Pro down there. That one was, when I got it, it was $180-ish as well. 256 gig NVMe SSD. You're going to most likely find 960s, Evos, and Pros to buy, because they don't really sell or make those anymore. And then the RAM is going to be 32 gigs of Patriot Viper memory. If I told you the price of what I paid for that, you won't believe me. So I'm just going to have to find the Instagram photo and pop it up right here of how much I paid. But I'll tell you what, it's under, I paid less than $100 for that 32 gig kit. Most RAM kits today are going to be well over $200 for 32 gigs, right? That's just the market right now for RAM prices. It's ridiculous, I know. So let's just move on to the GPU, which is an EVGA superclocked 1080. And unfortunately, this is, I got this, when it first came out, and it's the one that was recalled with the thermal pads not being in there. But that's all fixed now. That's all behind us. Let's move on to the case here, which is the Corsair 570X. There's a Corsair 570X, all tempered glass, 3 RGB fans up in the front and 1 up on the top here. They have another model that just has 1 RGB fan, I believe. But this is the larger version of this case, and I believe this one was $160 from Amazon. It's a bit used, so you're not going to see it as brand new with the cabling and stuff like that. This was my previous case from my X99 build. But nonetheless, that's the parts list. Let's get right into the build video.